Well, we've been making a lot of investments. We've said we have really three priorities. They are people, destinations, and technology, and we are investing in all three of them. The most recent example is our Perfect Day at Coco Cay, our private out island. And these kinds of investments we think are paying off very handsomely, very quickly, but they do involve costs to build up in preparation for them. We've spent, for example, 4 years preparing for the new private island. The technology is coming on stream. So there's a short-term cost, but the payoffs have been, I would say, delicious.
And Coco Cay is seen as a big driver for bookings during this upcoming wave season. And some analysts are saying they expect 65% will be booked by the end of wave season, which ends at the end of first quarter. Do you see that? 65% sound right to you?
Well, we are seeing a lot of more bookings in advance, and people are booking further in advance, and I think that's a sign of strength in the industry. We haven't given out those numbers, but that's the kind of number we've seen in the past. In the last 2 years, we've seen record bookings as we end the year, and I think this year we will again.
One of the benefits of cruising is you can truly customize the experience from the type of room you want to stay in, food and beverage, whether you want to participate in on or off-board experiences. Richard, have you seen any sign that consumers are opting for the basic room versus luxury, maybe pulling back on how much they want to spend when they're on board?
Not yet, actually. On the contrary, we're seeing more demand for the better staterooms. We have upgraded our categories, so we have more in suites, more with verandas, and those are actually selling first now. You try and get one of our top Royal Suites in advance, a year in advance, sometimes a year and a half in advance, and it's difficult to get the very best cabins. I think it's really because cruising has come of age, and people are seeing cruising as a great value. We think that's why so many analysts are talking about us as being recession resistant, and it's paying off. We're seeing it. Great strength in America, great strength in China. Europe isn't as strong as we expected, but our pricing in Europe is still better than it was last year. So I can live with this kind of bad news every day.
How much did Hurricane Dorian cost you, and why was it such an expensive storm?
So Hurricane Dorian was a terrible storm, and it cost us about 15 cents a share. And that's a lot of money.
How many cruises did you have to cancel?
We had to cancel. Well, we only had to cancel one, but we had to reposition because we have to stay way away from the storm.
Right.
We do a lot of things from a precautionary point of view. We also had to close down Perfect Day for 10 days. And so we had to cancel or move 16 sailings. It affected 88,000 of our guests. In our 50-year history, it's the most impactful storm we've ever had. And the reason was it had some very unique characteristics, including the fact that it just sat there 38 hours over Freeport. It must have been horrible to be there. So it affected that. It affected some of our best ships, our Oasis class ships. It also affected Perfect Day Island. And lastly, we invested a great deal in trying to give back a little bit to the Bahamas, so there was a fairly big expense in terms of relief.
Are you back in business in those destinations?
Oh, we're absolutely back in business, and the destinations are fine. And I have to say, people forget how big the Bahamas are. The chain is 700 islands. It's longer than California, and a couple of islands were affected. It's absolutely back in business.
But is it time to maybe invest in other regions, given that hurricanes are a reoccurring theme and therefore a threat to your business?
Well, hurricanes are an issue, but we are investing in other areas. So our investment in China has been some of the largest that we've ever done. We just last week announced a new investment in a Perfect Day in Vanuatu off the coast of Australia. We're investing in Europe. So we are really becoming every day more and more of a global company, and that's proven to be a very successful formula for us, and it also diversifies our business. So when we do have something, it's a hiccup rather than a real blow.
And just to understand the advanced bookings, you're saying people are booking more and more in advance. What percentage of those people actually stay with that trip that they booked and take it?
The good news is that mostly when somebody books, if they put even $5 down, the cancellation rate is very, very small.
Really?
People, they make their decisions. They're cautious about making their decisions. And we say generally at any point in time, about half of the next 12 months is booked. More recently, it's been a little better than that because people have been booking a little further out. But once somebody is booked, they tend to have really thought about it, and they tend not to change that.